All right, so let's talk about the Apple Vision Pro. Is it any good? Now, when I say is it any good, I'm mostly referring to is it any good for business world because as you all know, I own a web design marketing agency, and I want to see is how close does this come to possibly replacing a computer, and can you do some of the things that we're used to doing on our computers? Now, I personally use an iMac, love the iMac. I did an example of this, and I did a test to see how many windows in the real world scenario can I open up. So the pass through, it's good again for version 1, beta 1. It's good, but it definitely dims your environment quite a bit. You will see a lot of noise in the evening. It still seems to pick up my fingers, which is great, but you will see an enormous amount of noise. Now, I would think that version 2 or possibly version 3, the cameras are going to get a lot better so that you could really see your fingers in the dark. It is pretty heavy. I have to say that, of course, everyone has been talking about it, but it is pretty front heavy, and you can only wear it for a certain amount of time before you could feel it. So that's how I feel as well. Let's talk about the prescription portion of it, right? So what I'm using is these are actually prescription glasses, but I can also wear reading glasses, which is 2 plus. So what I ended up doing is I purchased from Zeiss the reading glasses instead of prescription, and they work great. And what's great about that is that my wife also wears 2 plus, which means that since it's not prescription, she also is able to use this without any issues. So that is a recommendation. I don't know if you guys can take that into note. There's absolutely no apps from Google whatsoever, which sucks. I think in the futures, hopefully that'll come out soon. But there is absolutely no Google browser, no Google Drive or anything of that. Of course, you can use Safari to go into Google Drive, but I was hoping that Google itself would have made the apps. There's no Netflix, as you know. There's no YouTube, as you know. And the only reason why I would want those apps are mostly the ability to download applications or movies, I should say, so that you can be, whether you're traveling, you can take it with you. Now, great that there's Disney, there's Paramount, there's Apple TV. You could download the movies, and if you're in an airplane, you could watch those movies. But when it comes to Netflix, of course, there's Safari, but you can't download it. And of course, when it comes to YouTube, there's, again, Safari, which works great, mind you. But again, you can't do any kind of downloads. I wanted to show you email, which is using Spark. This is Safari. I'll come back to it. Calendar works obviously great. These two are dial pad related. One of is to make a phone call. Our office system uses dial pad, so we're able to install dial pad and actually use it, which is great. This one is to actually have a conference room, a meeting with clients. So this also works, which is great. This particular one is a camera, so I'm able to view the camera, and I can even change the positioning of it, which is great. So you could see, so that's pretty awesome, where I just basically hold my finger and I'm able to rotate and see everything that I want to see. So that's great. Now Safari, I want to kind of like show a couple of different versions. Basecamp is the one we use for our project management system, so that works great. Canva, it actually works really well considering you don't have a mouse connected to it, so I'm able to basically go in and utilize Canva very easily. This is Jasper AI tool, works great. Wix is probably the only one that we have a little bit of a struggle. So this is a website building. We do a lot of website building using Wix Studio and or Editor X. Loading up Wix works fine. Commenting, going through all the tools, they all seem to work fine. If you want to go into, this is a Wix Studio. So now there's nothing in this one, so we're going to go into edit the website. Now it may load, it may not load, and that is actually where the issue comes in. But it really doesn't matter the fact that it doesn't load, even though it's got an M2 chip with 16 gigs of memory. The fact of the matter is you really need mouse control to be able to make these changes. So if one day when mouse control comes over to the Vision Pro, just like it finally did to the iPad, then I would think that the mouse would override whatever you're looking at and clicking. So because you need the ability to click and drag. So even if I click yeah, I can't, I'm not able to like modify it, like drag it. Now in Canva, it does work. You can actually click and drag it. So why don't we get out of here real quick? Why don't we jump into Canva? So yeah, so let's just say we open this up. I want to, let's just say, grab the giveaway. I'm going to move it. So I'm able to like grab it and move it. Obviously I can change the writing on it. If I want to grab this image right here, and I'm going to try and resize it now. So let's just do undo. So yeah, you were able to like do some things with it. So Canva is great. Now if you were able to do this type of modification on a Wix website, that'd be fine, because you could use your finger as the mouse. But yeah, so these seem to work pretty well. I'm gonna, this final one that I actually do want to discuss is connecting your iMac. I want to show you how to connect an iMac over to the screen mirroring, and the Vision Pro will automatically show up. So by just simply clicking on it, it will blank that out, and then your actual screen will appear right here, which is great. So, and then you can make it as big or as small as you feel like it, which is great. Immerse Worlds is probably one of the biggest things that I love about the Vision Pro, because if you want to feel like you are in an environment of working, you literally could turn this on all the way up. Now granted, you don't see your keyboard, and that that is an issue unless you're using the Vision Pro by itself. But this is just such a cool feeling that you're kind of like on your own. If you go and pull up, you know, YouTube or anything like that, you know, you could use Safari and it works great. Netflix and Safari works great. You just can't download any movies. That's the only problem. But the great thing is of course you could use Disney, Paramount, Apple TV, of course. There's a particular game that I think does a really good job of immersions, which is called Jetpack. So I'm going to show that to you guys real quick. And it completely takes over the room. Hit start. So we're completely in an immersed environment. I feel like, can I reach for the telephone? No. When you want to begin playing the game, you just push that button down and the game begins. Right? Which is really cool to play in an environment like this. Sometimes you'll see a robot going back and forth, and there's definitely movements in here. So this is actually really cool. Very easily connect the iMac. Mouse control you cannot connect, but of course you could connect your keyboard. Now I haven't done that. I do want to do that, but that's something else in the future. Games are really cool. Immersion's very cool. Movies are very cool. So again, for version 1, it's good. I think as the OS gets a lot better and version 2 comes out, I think then we'll be a little bit closer to mainstream. My conclusion, after showing you everything that I went through on the back end, showing my screen and all the applications that I had open, most of them, it's good to know that we are almost there, that right away on beta 1, we can use this almost as a computer replacement. But when it comes to actual designing, not yet. Not until the Apple makes an introduction with the mouse. Just like they finally did with an iPad, and you were able to finally connect a mouse to an iPad, the same thing would apply here. If they ever decide to connect a mouse to the Apple Vision Pro, and it would simply take over what your eyes are seeing, so you no longer have to worry about what you're looking at and clicking. It just overrides it. If you connect the mouse, it overrides it, which means it acts a lot like a computer. You could look anywhere you want, you could click and drag, which is really the biggest part of anybody who's doing any kind of design work. We need that ability. So hopefully Apple's listening to this and they'll actually release that. And the people who want to take advantage of connecting their mouse, they do, and the ones that don't, they don't. It just leave it up to us to what we want to do. All right, in conclusion, it is a great product, especially as a version 1. It is amazing. The immersion is, I think, by far what I absolutely love about this. Whether you want to watch a movie, whether you want to be immersed in doing something else, this is great. Love it. Talk to you later.